But her daughters start to bicker, and I was like, oh my gosh. So she has a twin, and when they bicker, it just hurts my heart. I said, it just kills me to watch my twins fight. And so to that lady, I'm not her dad.
You didn't tell her at the end?
No, I didn't tell her a single thing. She left.
Wow.
And Jade stared at me like, I can't believe you put me through that.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. I am Tyler Leung, and we got Jimmy Miller over here.
Yes.
Jimmy, we were this close to doing an emergency podcast this last week.
We were. There was a lot of info coming out.
But before we get going, we want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor of KOTC, which is the Pickler. Pickler is incredible. They do franchises. So if you're wanting to start your own indoor facility, reach out to the Pickler. They have everything up and ready to go. They have over 150 locations that have been sold to, I believe, 23 franchise owners. Pretty cool. It's
the middle of winter right now. How many of you are looking outside right now wishing you could play pickleball?
Exactly.
You can at the Pickler.
You know what tournament's going on right now? APP in Florida. They had a bunch of weather delays.
Yeah, they had rain.
Had there been a Pickler close by,
they
would have been able to complete.
Exactly.
Instead of doing 1 game to 11 rally
that
scoring.
Was wild. I know.
They would have been able to
starting 7 hours late.
Play
Crazy. In fact, we saw the Pickler was used for TOC a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's when Ben Johns lost.
Exactly.
And he's never played singles again.
Also with the Pickler, they have a very new, I don't even think, actually you might know who it is. It's a new brand ambassador. We can't say who it is yet, so be careful. No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But they will be announcing it very soon. He is a very high profile athlete.
Is this the guy that's coming on Tuesday?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I won't say that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they're wanting to announce that in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, super exciting, very high profile. Thank you to the Pickler for sponsoring and being the title sponsor of this podcast. It would not be possible without you guys. All right, Jimmy. So like I said, we were about to do an emergency podcast.
Where are you see this?
You love Pickleball Gangster.
Dude, Fred, my guy Fred sent this to me.
He's hooking it up.
He is dope. I kind of like it. I think it's pretty sick.
It matches your hat.
Yeah. Fred, thanks, Fred. Fred's from the Bay Area, by the way.
All right.
I love people from the Bay.
This guy will wear almost anything free. You send him something.
Fred's my guy. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Pickleball Gangster.
So yeah, this past week, we had actually known about this for maybe a week or maybe 7 to 9 days, or a little bit more than a week.
Yeah.
And we were kind of debating whether or not to go live with this information, but we did not. Then some other people kind of broke the story. So give us the status, where we stand with the MLP PPA merger. It was supposed to be done December. Yeah. Supposed to be done in early January.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of things that have kind of been happening with it that haven't really said anything about. Mm-hmm. More because we've been waiting to see like if it's actually going to break. Does that make sense? Because the thing is it's such a roller coaster. Like the one thing this sounds stupid, but being in the know, it actually sucks sometimes because you're hearing stuff every single day. Yeah. And it's like, oh, it's going down. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's going down. And it's like just this roller coaster of things. Mm-hmm. So like back in December, right before Christmas, it almost all fell apart, right? I think we've talked about this, but a couple of owners got together and they were considering blowing the whole thing up, running it themselves. They didn't like the terms. And then cooler heads prevailed. They seemed to come to some sort of agreement. I think a couple of these owners, they're billionaires, like, wealthier than Dundon. A couple of these guys.
He's not going like that. You said that.
I know, but they are. Sorry, Tom. You shouldn't have invested in pickleball. And they just didn't want to run it. Like they have other things going on. Mm-hmm. And so like, I think that they love pickleball and they want to invest in pickleball and they see its future, but also it's a big undertaking.
Yeah. Where
PPA has that operation side already in place. And that's where their big benefit is to MLP, right?
Okay, fast forward. So we're middle of January. This thing was supposed to be closed.
So it's supposed to be closed.
Pardo both told us
so
it has 100% chance of closing.
At Masters, they were expecting to announce it like on Monday or Tuesday at Masters. Like they were expecting that and after Masters. I mean, 100% chance. Everything was good. And then on the 16th, that night, an email comes in.
Okay.
Email comes in from Tom Wagner, who owns Nighthead Capital. Okay.
And this guy has been very removed.
Yeah.
Very removed. He hasn't been in the...
He hasn't really said anything. Yeah. He's kind of laid low. I think that Stein and Tylus kind of felt like Wagner was on their side. He owns the Night Owls. He's not like a big guy that's pumped a lot of money into his team. I feel like, and I don't know him, but I feel like they're more of like a passive investment type of team. Like they bought him hoping to make some money. Tom Brady's in their ownership group, hoping to make a little money on the team, and it is what it is. He pops up. Not only does he pop up, but his lawyer sends a letter, essentially says...
Who does he send it to?
He sends it to all the owners. He sends it to Pardo, Dundon, everybody. He basically says that he feels like there's been some, what's the word? I don't want to use the word collusion, but there's been some dirty tactics, and everybody, Tylus, Stein, Pardo, Dundon are taking care of themselves with this deal and not taking care of everybody else. And he wants all the communication.
He wants transparency.
Transparency, all the communications that's between MLP and PPA about this merger. Then he says, also, I am willing to back the merger.
So he's saying he's willing to fund it. He wants to fund it.
Yep. He's saying, I'll fund it, and I'll fund it for better. I'll give you better terms than what they're giving you.
Okay.
So for people that don't know, there's, and I'm not like the smartest dude when it comes to this, but there's a management fee of 2% that these guys are charging. And then they're charging a 20%. It's called 2 and 20. They're charging a 20% fee that they get paid depending on how well the
PPA or MLP?
The Tylus and Stein, who are backing this currently. Okay. And I'm sure that, there's money, other people involved, but so they get 2% for managing it. And then they get 20% depending on how it grows. So if it hits certain benchmarks, they'll get a 20% commission.
So it's a pretty sweet deal for them.
It's a great deal for them. I mean, and it's a ton of money for them. And if this thing blows up, they're going to be even richer than they already are. So Wagner basically says, I won't charge that fee. I'll lower the interest on it. I'll allow the owners to contribute more money if they want to be involved. And he's like, let's make this happen. So I talked to a lot of owners when this came out, and it was mixed, right? Some owners were like, he's not offering a sweet enough deal. Let's not pretend he's this white knight coming in to save everybody.
White Knight from
Nighthead Capital. Yes. Yep. Other owners were like, I think we got to listen. This is a huge deal.
Because when you're talking about that amount of money, even 0.5% is a significant amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. So they had this whole like back and forth. So then they had a call. And this is the one thing that other people have reported on this, but I don't know if other people have reported on this call. So they had this call, and all the owners got on, and he was going to give his pitch basically to the owners. And he was going to give this pitch, and he was going to basically tell them why they should wait on this merger and talk to, and hear him out. And he gets on the call and he says, hey, I've been talking to Al and Jason, so Al Tylus and Jason Stein. We've made significant progress. I actually think that we can come to an agreement, and so we don't really need to have this call anymore. And he was like, we're good. Essentially saying that he feels like Al and Jason are willing to move a little bit on some things, and he doesn't, not that he doesn't want to back it, but he doesn't need to back it at this point. And that was it. And so me reading between the lines, that's a good thing for the merger, right? They came to, it sounds like a viable solution. I know that, that Tylus basically said at one point, like, take it or leave it with my deal. Like, I'm not going to respond to these baseless allegations.
Yeah. Because if for some reason the owners wanted to go with this new route, then that would essentially take everything back to ground zero.
You'd almost have to start over.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you could just
minimum of 3 to 4 months.
Exactly.
Minimum.
If you could just plug it in, fine. But no, this guy would have to go negotiate now with Dundon and PPA. And so, you'd almost have to start over. Yeah. And so from a player's perspective, you obviously don't want that. I think from a league perspective, you don't want that, because the crazy thing is imagine, is the 2% worth canceling 3 months of the season? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something that they would have to obviously weigh and figure out. Yeah. So right now, where it stands today, on Sunday, January 21st, this is the crazy thing. It's fluid. It changes by the hour. is that it sounds like it's close. Mm-hmm. They're back to they're sticking with that original deal. And hopefully we have some sort of solution soon. With that being said, mm-hmm. there's supposed to be a draft tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's not happening, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the Challenger draft is supposed to be the 24th. Mm-hmm. Not happening. First event is February 7th. There's no way that happens. Mm-hmm. You can't. It'd be rushed. It would be. So at this point, I think we're going to.
I feel like if they were to announce things this week, that might still be a possibility. February 7th.
Maybe. It's
this week.
Yeah, it's tough.
If it's not this week, then they can't do that.
It would be tough. So I would expect at least one event to be canceled or postponed, but I guess there's always that possibility. I mean, they threw San Clemente together in hours. Yeah.
You guys have a combine with the Breakers, Black Bears, and
just the Breakers and Black Bears for now.
So you're flying in 10 to 20 different pros, and you guys are coming in. You're training. You're doing rec games. You're doing games. You're talking to them. You're having a couple other people come in.
Yeah. So it's pretty awesome. So right now we have 26 players committed. Mm-hmm. Obviously we have all the Utah. We're going to do it here in Salt Lake. We have the Utah players, are going to be there. We got Todd Fote and Chuck Taylor and Allie Phillips. And
did you say Etta Wright's going out there?
Etta's going to be there. Yeah. Just to, obviously, nobody needs to see Etta's game, but Etta's going to be there, maybe help with some evaluations and things. Yeah. And hopefully you'll come by. Yeah. And then, we're flying in big list of players who we expect to be, available in Challenger. I mean, we've got Amanda Hendry, we've got Shelby Bates, we've got Richard Levernice, we have Hannah Blatt, the Walker sisters, Aaliyah Brown. I mean, it's a big list. Yep. And then we have a couple of players who are actually unsigned. Mm-hmm. Little secret here, and you cannot draft unsigned players. Okay, that's the rule
as of now.
Yeah. But we have a couple unsigned players that we're going to bring in and evaluate, and hopefully if there's ever they get this figured out and there's a waiver wire. Yeah. So it should be fun. And then we have it's being sponsored by the Pickler. Mm-hmm. They're allowing us to use their facility. And then Pickle Paddles, so PIKKL. I know there's that other pickle. There's like two different pickle.
A lot of pickle.
Yeah, so I always feel like I have to spell it. Yeah. But Pickle Paddles. And then Pickleball Vision. Will be there. Stack's gonna be there. It's awesome, dude. Like, the response has been amazing. Oh, Tyra's coming in. Yeah. We're pumped.
Yeah, it should be fun. But it's kind of crazy. You guys are still moving forward with it, with everything else. And
so we feel like we wanted to do a combine back in November, mm-hmm. and we had started the process and we had reached out to players, and we wanted to do it before that.
But this isn't a true combine in the sense that you're not doing ladders, you're not bench pressing,
no,
doing that stuff.
But by combine, we just mean a place to evaluate. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of these players, you don't get to, right? One, APP doesn't stream. Mm-hmm. Well, they do now, but it's still not streaming all the courts. Yeah. Right? Two, some of these players are, full-time doing other things, or they're new on the scene, and you don't really get to see them a lot, right? Mm-hmm. If they're in Florida, Richie's in California, I'm here, the Breakers are coming, so Jeff Wynn's in California, so it's like, we don't get to see a lot of these Florida players. Yeah. So this gives us a chance in a controlled environment to see these players and to kind of watch them and evaluate them. And we feel like that's a small investment to make sure.
Did you bring in some hecklers?
No, but
Jeff Warnick?
But true story. Word got out. So in Utah, for people that don't know, Polynesian community is huge, mm-hmm. and the Polynesian community loves pickleball.
They love pickleball.
Love it.
They will camp at pickleball courts all day.
I'm not kidding. In the summertime, they will have barbecues, music. Food. They will have tents popped up, and they will camp at these courts till midnight, and lights go off. Yeah. Like every night. It's insane. It's fun. It's great to be a part of. Love all my poly brothers and sisters. So they got word of it, mm-hmm. and West Jordan is very much.
They should sell some tickets.
Well, they're not, but they're coming. Uh-huh. So we're going to have crowds. Yeah. Like George said that they are pumped about it, and they want to come and they want to set up shop and watch. So we're excited. It's going to be fun.
That's kind of the status on MLP PPA. As Jimmy said, it is truly, truly fluid. Like literally every hour, every day, there's something changing. One thing I did want to ask you about is Rob Nunnery has been a little bit more vocal, I'd say, on X, on Twitter recently.
Yeah.
And he made a post saying that
he must have paid his phone bill.
none of the MLP players, they should have been paid by now. January 1st was the start date, and none of them, to his knowledge, have been paid.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's true, right? There's no money.
These players had full-time jobs that they quit because they thought they were going to be
getting paid. But there's no money to pay them, and that is true. Until this merger is done and that $50 million becomes invested, there is no money.
Will they back pay, do you think?
Yeah, they have to. They got to pay them from January 1st for sure. But there's no money there. The second thing is, there's two things that we need to remember, okay? Because there's a lot of talk. Your boy, Uncle Jim Klaus, loves to talk about MLP going bankrupt, okay? And maybe it will at some point. I'm not saying I'm confident that there's smart enough people running it that it's not. But we got to remember that there's two people willing to back it now. It's not a lack of money at this point. Yeah. You have two investors willing to give $50 million. It's a matter of coming to an agreement with PPA.
Yeah, that's what those terms look like.
Yes, but they have people willing to give the money.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I think we need to understand. So it's not like they don't have money, but they just, they can't come to that agreement as quick as any of us would like. So with that being said, I think they will pay them. I think there will be back pay, but they haven't been paid. It sucks. There's actually the Dink reported. And if this is true, I think it's interesting and also probably a breach of the term sheet, but that there's been players, and they specifically said Leah Jansen, who's actually flipped from MLP to PPA.
Wasn't she a part of the Players Collective? She
was part of the Players Collective. Sounds like she signed her deal to whatever cut they agreed to. According to Jilly B, she signed her deal due to sponsor pressure. Sponsors basically told her she needed to sign it. But then the Dink posted that she actually signed with PPA and not with MLP, which this is the problem with this is what happened with the previous hostile takeover, is that signed MLP player or signed PPA players were agreeing to contracts with MLP. And that's what caused all of this to begin with, right? When Kansas City and they're trying to sign all these guys. Well, if they're trying to work out a merger and they're trying to come together, I think that it's got to be some sort of either the Dink has this wrong, which they said that they confirmed it with Connor Pardo, or Connor, he's on a cruise and he clearly was busy.
Best time to go on a cruise.
Clearly he was busy at the soft serve machine doing something, and wasn't really paying attention. But there's got to be some sort of breach or violation there if they're signing MLP players to PPA deals in the middle of this merger while they have a term sheet.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, there's got to be more to it than we realize. But if Leia did flip, that also shows the lack of trust in MLP at this point. And who she feels like is going to pay her. But PPA hasn't paid either. They paid some signing bonuses.
I think most of their players have received upfront payments.
From back in October or whatever, right? Yeah. But since January 1, there's been no payment.
But I don't know if they were supposed to receive payment. I thought it was initially, and I could be wrong. I have to go back. They would be receiving 2 payments throughout the year at the half mark and then at the year end mark.
Oh, okay. Just 2 large lump sum payments.
Lump sum payments.
Was MLP the same way then?
I don't think so. MLP was monthly.
Okay. Because I heard that January 1st.
That's when it started.
Yeah. I heard January 1st that there was some massive amount, $20-something million due to players.
Yeah.
And maybe it's spread out.
Yeah. And that could be, every contract will probably be different. So some might have bonuses, upfront payments, or whatever it might be. But I think initially they were going to have you play X amount of tournaments, and then whatever prize money was the difference between that and then your guaranteed amount, they would just pay you that. Makes sense.
Dude, it's pretty wild though. Nunnery's not wrong in that your livelihood is kind of hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Nunnery was playing APPs anyways, from just his own personal perspective.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I mean, maybe he did quit a full-time job. Maybe there's other things but it is kind of nuts that like there's no communication. Every player that I've talked to, they're like, Jimmy, like there's zero communication. Can they just communicate to us? Be transparent. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's where this lacks because I don't feel like MLP has any leadership at the top right now. And that might get me in trouble, but oh well. Whoops.
Hey, but you're bought by Big Pickle now. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell out.
Yeah, I'm a sellout, even though Zane has a lifetime deal with ProXR, who is the official sponsor of MLP and sponsors that. That doesn't make any sense. You have a lifetime deal with Big Pickle, Zane. So good try, bud.
Tell us how you really feel.
But with that being said, like I just don't think there's any leadership there, and they've got to be transparent. They've got to communicate. And the fact that Connor Pardo is negotiating MLP player deals is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because what if this merger doesn't go through, right? And you end up and I know that they're confident that it will, but now you end up breaking up, and Pardo's created the relationships with the MLP players at this point. You would assume at least some of them.
Yeah.
And so what would stop him from swooping in and being like, okay, well your contracts are only $75,000 buyouts. That's what the MLP contracts are.
Yeah.
We're gonna buy out your deal. Come over to PPA. We actually have money. We didn't leave you in limbo.
Yeah.
On the flip side, like I just think MLP, like all these players the majority chose MLP because they trusted them, because they trusted the ownership, they trusted, and maybe and most of them didn't trust Pardo, let's be honest. And so why wouldn't you, the one thing that you could have done throughout this whole process is kept that trust from the players and kept them informed and been different than everybody else. And they failed at that too. Like it's a shit show.
I feel like both PPA and MLP are not going to like this.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, like it's crazy. Like I told you, I'm always going to be team players.
Yeah.
Right, because without the players, there is no league.
Yeah.
Right, without them, there isn't a league, and so I feel like you have responsibility to the players.
Yeah. So realistically, what do you think? This week we'll get some more concrete evidence or direction, or
I hope so. I mean, I hope that this week we get some, because this deal didn't change. Like what I was told is even if they take the Wagner deal, it didn't change anything for PPA. Like they were still their half of the deal was still exactly the same.
Yeah,
yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, I think it has. I think that the fans too. Here's the other thing, and this is just a small portion of fans, but I feel like PPA would post something and they could never, it just didn't matter what they did. They were never right. Right. They would, anything they posted, there was just this, and maybe it was just a small group that don't have jobs and they're on the internet all day. Like me. And they would light up the PPA for everything. But now
trolls, man. The trolls.
But now I feel like it's almost shifted a little bit. And MLP is the one that's now taking the shots, and MLP's taking the shots from the fans and the shots from the players. And it's kind of shifted a little bit. And there's more trust in a way in PPA because PPA is actually currently running events.
I think they're really trying, with the grain of salt, I think they are trying to be a lot more transparent with everything they do. And they're just trying to be a lot more communicative and just a lot more as a professional league should be. Yeah.
And I think they're, for sure. I'm just saying that, and they're actually running. The thing is they're actually running events right now where MLP is not.
Exactly.
And so there's a product there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. The whole thing's wild, dude. Like, let's just lock this down. Let's get it. I was talking to Richie the other day, and Richie said, when can we get back to the fun part?
Yeah.
Let's get back to the fun part of
this. Is the fun part, the drama.
I mean, it's fun for some. I love chaos, dude. I thrive in chaos. I love chaos. So don't get me wrong. And this is great podcast content. Yeah. But I also would love to
just get back to it. Yep.
Get back to the pickleball part.
Okay, Jimmy, is this the right ball? The Vulcan ball, the V Pro Flight.
Big fan.
They are the official ball sponsor of KOTC.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of background.
And of PPA.
And a PPA.
Yes. So yeah, Vulcan V Flight Pro. V Pro Flight.
I think.
Yeah. Their backpack's the V Pro too.
Yeah.
They love V Pro because the V. So I heard a rumor. The new ball is going to be embossed with the V.
Yes.
You know that I suggested that.
Is it embossed or debossed?
That's M.
Debossed.
It is?
Debossed.
What's that mean?
Check it out. Look it up.
Okay. It's going to have a V in it.
Imprinted.
Yep. Yes. Like there's another ball that does that with another letter.
Uh-huh.
I suggested that.
Okay.
I think they probably were already doing it before, but I want to take credit just like I do for Megan's career, for Edda's career, for your career, your resurgence.
Exactly.
And bro, do you wear a new shirt to every episode?
Yeah.
This is fresh out of the package.
No.
It's not?
I've worn it a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, Vulcan. I mean, it looks good. I just was like, geez.
Thank you.
Vulcan V Pro Flight. Look, they take a while to break. Mm-hmm. You can get good spin on them.
Yep.
They're playable right out of the package without being tumbled. That's one of the big advantages, right? They're durable. I mean,
be careful. People are going to send you pictures of theirs breaking.
Yeah, they're still plastic, so they will break at some point.
You talked about this last time, and I thought it was actually a pretty valid point or valid reason that you had. You said you thought a lot of people were kind of projecting a lot of their past concerns or issues onto this new current ball.
Yeah.
And I'd like to reiterate that. I think that's true. There was somebody or a couple of people that took pictures of this ball that had broken after a couple of games, and it's like, okay, the previous ball had those exact same issues. They were getting out of round. They were breaking.
That's the thing, is just because it's a new ball doesn't mean that it's like this perfect, solution, right? Like technology is going to continue to get better and it's going to continue to expand. But at the end of the day, we're still using a plastic ball in pickleball. Like it is what it is. It's the best choice for pickleball, but it's still a plastic ball.
And honestly, I would say we talked to a lot of the players at the last tournament, and I would honestly say that most of the players, probably 90% or so, had a very positive experience. And we said that in the last video. And there was a comment that said, that's not true. Nobody liked the ball. And I said, and I responded to this guy and I said, were you at the tournament? And this person didn't respond back to me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that there were good and bad. I walked around with Vulcan, just to be clear. Mm-hmm. And we interviewed 30 or 40 different players, amateurs and pros. Yeah. And I mean, Thomas Wilson loved it. Dylan said he really liked it. But Dylan said he loves the Dura. Like, let's just be clear. But he said he liked this ball. And then most amateurs really enjoyed it. But, there was little things. And the comments from the amateurs were the same exact things as like that they would have with any ball. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, it's not... I think we have a little bit of revisionist history here.
Anyways,
so, I think it's a great ball.
Great ball. Go check them out. Use code KOTC at vulcansportinggoods.com. It'll bring that price down a little bit.
And let's be really honest. If you are a ball snob, which means that you're complaining about this ball, if you're going to play in PPA events, this is the ball you're going to use. So you might, like, at this point, like, I would get used to it. I would start playing with it. Yeah. And I think that the more you play with it, the more you will realize, we've been playing with it for months at this point, that it's solid. It's the best ball of the market. And I think that, when it comes to durability and playability, there's not anything better. So check it out. KOTC.
All right. Awesome. And we've been able to track the codes that have been used, and there's a lot of people using it. So,
I got a message. I think, are they sold out? Or they get more stock?
Think of the smaller packages they are, but of the 100 pack, which will be the best value, I think they still have those.
Yeah, crazy.
All right. Thank you, Vulcan, for being the ball sponsor of the show. Yeah. All right. So we have APP.
Yeah.
They're doing a tournament right now as we speak. Yeah. And because of you, I'm going to give credit to you. You complained so much last year. They are actually streaming a little bit more.
They are. And their stream quality is actually pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying it's better than PPAs.
Yeah.
In terms of resolution and just kind of the angles.
Yeah. The APP, I don't know. Is Boxcar doing it? I don't know who's doing it.
I don't know if they're doing it now. But yeah, I mean, they are only doing one court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're only doing one court. Any thoughts, any upsets that you've noticed with the APP, or any players stand out to you?
I mean, the problem is the first day on mixed day, it rained hard. So they did one game to 15.
Yeah.
So you saw some like interesting things, but Will Howells and Bobby Oshiro I mean, they were on a tear. I mean, they beat, dude, how wild is this? So they beat Salome and Jaden Broderick 15-6. So for those who don't know, Will Howells played tennis at Notre Dame. All-American tennis player.
I played against him. He was with
Goldberg.
Goldberg. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And Goldberg has been telling me for 6 months that that Will Howells is the next big thing. And so he played tennis in Notre Dame. He lives in Florida, kind of been training with those guys. So they win 15-6 over Salome and Jaden Broderick. So then they play Riley Boner and Ryler DeHart, and they beat him 15-1, which again is impressive.
Yep.
But then they play Paris and Hunter, and they lose game 1, 11-6, come back and win 11-2, 11-1.
Wow.
Over Paris and Hunter before they fell in 3 to Yates and Johnson and Georgia Johnson. But they were close. They beat him in game 1, and then they lost 7-9. So Will Howells and Bobby Oshiro, that's impressive. That's a good run.
So in singles, they are going to rally scoring 2 out of 3 games to 15.
2 out of 3 to 15. And you want to talk about pros hating something? Every pro has said they hate it.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
And they're supposed to be sticking with that, right?
Yeah, that's their new,
Which I think is a little bit interesting because Ken Herman has always harped about how they listen to players.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see if he listens to the players here.
So Frank Anthony Davis, Fad, he said that they're like players who are, just playing singles and they're showing up and they're losing in under 10 minutes. The match is under 10 minutes. You're paying $300, $400, $500.
Yeah.
You're done in under 10 minutes and then you're done for the day because there's no backdrop.
Yeah. I've always said this. I mean, pickleball is so unique, and I feel like if somebody gets hot, they can really upset a lot of people. And you throw in rally scoring. I mean, I always talk about that with MLP. I think almost. I mean, most of the games are very close.
Yeah.
And so if you throw that into rally scoring, that'll be interesting.
Isn't that crazy? Speaking of breaking news, women's pro singles, Judith Castillo.
Yeah, she wins.
Beat Megan Fudge.
Yeah.
Good win. It's a good win for her. She actually announced with me at finals.
Oh, nice. Masters?
Yeah, at finals.
Oh, at finals.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Can I tell you a funny story? Totally unrelated, off topic, about what happened at Masters.
Tell us.
I'm standing at Masters next to Jade Kawamoto. We're just standing there.
Did someone ask you for your autograph and not hers?
No, but somebody did ask me when I was standing by Lucy Kovalova if they could get a picture with me and not hers. And I think she's offended, but that's okay. No, so we're just talking. We were watching a match, actually. And we're kind of at this side angle. And this lady walks up. And she says, hey, looks at Jade and points. And Jade's in her all white. And she goes, you're a pro, right? And Jade's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah. She's like, can I get your picture? Blah, blah, blah. And she starts talking to her. And then she looks at me and says, are you related to her? And I said, oh, yeah, I'm her dad. And the lady's like, oh. And she goes,
see the resemblance?
Yeah, exactly. And she goes, oh, you look so young to be her dad. I was like, okay, that's nice. And then we went on to have like a 5-6 minute conversation about how she was telling me how supportive I was to come to her events as her dad.
And you just went along with it.
Yeah. And the best part is Jade did too.
Yeah.
And played it up. And she's like, where are you guys from? And I'm like sitting there. I'm like, then I remembered they lived in Indiana. And I was like, Indiana. And we went along with it. And then her daughter walks over and she starts telling us how her daughter is trying to play.
Did you not feel bad at all?
No, not at all. It was amazing.
Wow.
And she starts telling us how
Jimmy has no soul.
Her older daughter and how she was like starting to play, but her daughters start to bicker. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she has a twin. And when they bicker, it just hurts my heart. I said, it just kills me to watch my twins fight. And so to that lady, I'm not her dad.
You didn't tell her at the end?
No, I didn't tell her a single thing. She left. And Jade stared at me like, I can't believe you put me through that.
Wow.
I mean, it just came to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, it just happened. So I apologize to her. I'm not Jade's dad, but it was pretty funny.
All right. Any thoughts with APP? They're just kind of chugging along. They have their tournaments lined out. They're doing next gen. They also have the Masters or
they're doing
Champions
team
Cup.
events this year.
Yep.
$100,000 team events.
Yep.
Yeah, they call them out. They call champions for seniors, which is funny because that's what the golf PGA Tour does. And then they call the Masters events. I think the interesting thing is, for example, Vivian Glassman was signed up to play with Paris, and then she had to pull out because she doesn't have an APP carve out in her deal. And so we were talking contracts earlier, and technically they're still under contract with MLP, PPA. And so Glassman couldn't actually play in this event.
Gotcha.
Because she doesn't have a carve out, where other players have that APP carve out, right?
Yeah.
Paris, Hunter, Yates, they do. Fun fact though, did you see who was playing APP?
Who?
Georgia Johnson.
I did, yep.
Because the Johnsons, as we reported, have not signed any deal.
Yeah.
They didn't sign their previous deal back in August.
Yeah. So technically, couldn't all of them play if they wanted to?
Yeah, for sure. They're free agents at this point.
Yeah.
So Georgia goes and plays APP.
Yeah.
Because, technically she can because they're not under contract.
And Millie did as well.
And Millie did as well. Yep, exactly. And they had a good run.
I wonder why Gabe or J-Dub or Dylan did not.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I mean,
maybe trying to show their faith in PPA or something like that.
Yeah, where Georgia and Millie are like, we just want to play pickleball.
Yeah.
I told you, Millie's always just happy to be there.
Yeah.
She actually had a good run, though.
Yeah.
Millie and Bobby Oshiro in women's.
Okay. Awesome. Moving on. So we're going to get into questions now. So the sponsor of this segment is C&D Pickleball Nets.
Speaking of APP, the official net of the APP Tour.
Yeah, they do use those nets.
Yeah, and they look amazing.
Yeah.
And I saw them on the live stream today. Did you know they drive out and set up the nets at every event?
C&D drives out to all of those locations, sets it up, and also takes it down.
Yeah.
And then drives back.
Yeah. So like Punta Gorda, they send a team out there to set up those nets. And honestly, I mean, APP, you can call them the minor leagues, but they're definitely not the minor leagues when it comes to nets because they have the best nets on tour, on any tour.
That's a good slogan.
Yes.
All right. So let's get into some questions. Okay.
Love C&D.
All right. So our first one, we have to kind of preview these, so we. So they're good for the show.
Yeah. Sometimes we gotta.
Okay. So somebody said, so Leia quit another partner. I thought they were trying all year. So her, Leia, and Tyra. Yeah.
So I need to clarify a couple things on this real quick. Okay. So Lauren Stratman did not drop Elise to play with Leia. Okay. I don't think I said that, but I think it came across like that. So just to be clear, Lauren did not. Elise and Lauren were never playing.
And apparently I have to correct you on every incorrect thing you say because this is our show.
Yes.
And so some people were getting mad at me. And so I have to correct you for everything you say. I'm held.
And I don't think I actually said that. I think that I may have not just been clear. So Lauren did not drop Elise Jones at all. That was always an opening. Sounds like Lauren and Elise are still playing together.
All the tournaments that they had, they're going to
do. Lauren is just playing with Leia in Phoenix.
In some tournaments.
In Phoenix, I just know Phoenix for sure. And then, sounds like maybe there's others. But Lauren and Leia are playing in Phoenix.
Phoenix or Mesa?
It's Phoenix. It's this one coming up. And nobody was dropped.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody was dropped on that side of it. Leia did decide to move on from Tyra. She felt like she needed, and I don't know this for sure, but it sounds like she felt like she needed somebody who was a little more steady on the right. She wants to play the left, and she decided to move on for whatever reason. I have an interesting take on drops because I think that if you drop people at the last minute, that's what makes it tough, right? That's when it's difficult. That the whole Catherine Parento.
What do you think is the minimum amount
Elise
that somebody should give?
2 weeks.
Oh, I would say at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would say 4. I think if it's more than 4, that gives them fairly sufficient time to find somebody else or find a replacement or something like that.
Yeah. And I think, and my take on it is it's your career, right? It's your career. So you should be able to you should be able to drop whoever you want if you're not comfortable with it. It's your career.
I do think there should be a time where you can't do that because if you've committed to somebody.
But there is that fine line, right? Between having that commitment to somebody and, I think you have to figure out what that is in your own personal conscience and what you choose. But I do think it is your career and you're responsible for it.
A lot of players are starting to do much shorter timeframes with people. They're doing like 2 or 3 months. They'll plan out for 2 to 3 months. And then if it goes well, they'll continue with it. If not, then they don't have to drop it.
Exactly. Like, I mean, look, Lucy's been with Callie for 3 years now. And I know that Lucy's only planned out events for a couple months at this point.
Exactly.
Because of that. I mean, and look at the other thing is I think that there's a commitment level, but also like, who are you playing Phoenix with?
What, men's or
men's?
Men's?
Yeah.
Todd Fote.
So Todd Fote, and I love Todd, okay, but if Riley Newman called you tomorrow, sorry, Todd.
Maybe.
Well, I'm just saying like it's your career and you have to make that decision and nobody would blame you for doing that.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay. Moving on.
By the way, it sounds like Tyra's going to play. Can I break this?
Break it.
Sounds like Tyra's going to play with Paris for most of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. A lot of power.
Yeah.
A lot of power. Okay. Next one is, when will MLP players get paid? So we just talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
As soon as
when the merger's done, as soon as the merger's done, I guess they'll start getting checks. I don't know, to be honest, because right now there's no money to pay them because they haven't had that influx of money put in.
Okay. What does Jimmy think of Dylan's croc lights?
Freaking Dylan. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he was the worst dressed.
Is there anything more on brand though for him?
No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Dylan is amazing. Like he's a good kid. He's funny.
His new haircut though.
He looked good. His haircut looked good.
Yeah.
Dylan told me, I don't want to say it here because I don't want to embarrass him, but he's going to ask somebody out if he won, and he won.
In the pickleball sphere?
Yeah, and she's a player.
Wow. Like a player or a player?
He's a player. She's a player. And
yeah. Who is it? Give us.
I can't say it. I'll just say this. They're sisters, but not twins. It's one of the sisters. So I hope he did it. I hope he came through.
Wow.
Go get yours, baby Dill.
Eskimo Bros?
No way. No, not that one.
Oh, somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
More lower level, newer on the scene.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
So go get it, baby Dill.
Okay. All right. I think we should address this. Rumor, new Vulcan ball is the crown ball with the Vulcan logo. Thoughts?
So, look, I'm not in the factory in China, so I don't know. My guess is that 90% of paddles are actually the same paddles made in different factories. And there's a very good chance that the plastic is made, there's a plastic ball factory somewhere and it's the same, or it's made similarly. But I will say this, I know for a fact that Vulcan engineered this. They made changes to this ball.
So I will interject. So I've been with Vulcan for 4+ years.
Yeah.
When I first went to their place, they were talking about coming out with a ball.
Yeah.
They were talking about it. It was in their plans. They wanted to do it. But then all of a sudden it got put on the back burner. And then as you were saying, most factories, and this is the same across all industries, all categories, shoes, Nike makes their shoes in the same factory that Adidas does.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, we don't know. They don't know for sure. But I would say they look similar, but they're not identical. If you hold them up, one is shinier. The holes are a little bit different.
The holes are actually drilled different. We looked at it. Yeah. And I think you could do that with multiple balls.
Exactly.
And so, look, I know that like if you are in the ball space right now,
there's a lot of balls that look very similar. A lot of balls.
Yes. And if you're in the ball space right now, there's 1 million balls out there. Okay. There's so many. And it's weird because I didn't feel like some of these other ball manufacturers were so in their feelings about the Dura, right? I felt like they just accepted it. Yep. It is what it is. And they were going to come out with essentially their argument was, well, the Dura is not going to last. Ours is. And that was how they were always competing against the Dura, as ours is going to last longer. Now that Vulcan has come out with a ball that's the official ball of the PPA, that's actually going to last longer. These guys are all kind of in their feelings a little bit about it. And I'm not just talking like Crown, I'm talking multiple other ones. And yeah, if you're in the ball space, it is a little bit scary in a way because you're like, okay, well now Vulcan is coming out with this new ball. It's the official ball of the PPA. They're selling out. Vulcan sold out the first freaking day. Mm-hmm. They're selling out. Like, how do I stay relevant and how do I compete? Well, one thing is price. And we know that a lot of people have dropped their price. And then the second thing is, I guess you try to tear down the other ball.
Yep.
Right. But for me, like, I think there's 2 ways to build the tallest tower. You either tear down everybody else's or you just build the tallest tower. And you have to decide what you're going to do.
Wise words from Jimmy Miller.
And I think that
influencer.
There's certain people out there that have decided that they're just going to try and tear everything else down.
Yeah.
Instead of just continuing on with their own brand and building it up.
All right. Do we want to read that one? Or no, not that one.
Yeah, can I read it?
I'll read it. It says, don't post sexy pictures of your wife. Looks like you're trying to compete with MacGuffin.
How do you feel about that?
I can promise you I'm not trying to compete with MacGuffin.
I don't even know what to say about that one. And also, who's are you zooming in? Like, what's going on, bud? Like,
I promise you, he went
to take his wife to Hawaii, right? Like, it's okay.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
I can't, dude. Anything I say will be inappropriate. Let's move on.
Okay, that same person said, with a ban of white paddles, with a ban of white paddles, why is wearing all white allowed?
Because I think that the issue with the white paddle is not being able to see the ball come off the paddle. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you're wearing the clothing, it's not as big of a distraction.
So I need to get clarification on this because I know that MLP has banned white paddles, like the majority of the paddle. As long as it's white, it's banned. And I thought PPA did not do that.
Not. But only MLP has.
No, but Ben Johns was playing against Guangdong, and he made PPA made Kwang change his paddle.
Tyler, it's Ben Johns.
Yeah, but what's their reasoning behind
Ben Johns can complain about anything that he wants.
Okay.
Ben Johns was complaining because Kwang Duong was an all white.
He was.
With a white paddle. And so, yeah, he was saying that he couldn't pick up the paddle. And his complaint was that it was just because it was all white with white. Had he been wearing a different color clothing, then I don't think he would have had that complaint. And I think it was more of like a
interesting
courtesy for him to change paddles, even though it was approved.
Huh?
And
do you want to hear kind of a funny story as well?
Yeah.
So when I was playing Guangdong,
Duong. If you say it wrong,
my apologies.
Yes.
We went out there and we did the sticker check.
Yeah.
And his sticker, supposedly, which I believe him, it fell off or something like that. It wasn't on his paddle.
Yeah.
And so the ref said, you got to go get your paddle tested.
Yeah.
And he started complaining. He said, no, I just had it tested. It passed, everything like that. And so he went to his bag and just right there, kind of in front of the ref, they switched the sticker to his new paddle.
Yeah.
And he brought it back and the ref said, no, you can't do that. That's illegal.
Yeah.
And they were arguing. And so it was just kind of interesting how the state of paddle testing at the moment is you could literally take off the sticker and put it on
had he not done it in front of the ref.
Exactly. It would have been fine.
It would have been fine. Which if he's willing to do it in front of the ref, has he done it
exactly
at other times?
I believe him. I believe it passed and everything like that. But it is funny.
The fact that he just was like, screw this, I'm just going to switch.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
so
good try, Chief.
Okay, somebody asked another question about the ball. We answered. All right, somebody said, will the pros still show up to the 1,000 point tournament? So there's different tiers, and I think 1,000 point is the lowest tier.
It's going to be really interesting because I've talked to some pros, and they really want to play as many events as they can. They love pickleball. I was told that these new deals, it's 10 PPAs and 9 MLPs. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then those 1,000 point tournaments are probably the ones, I think they're calling them open events, are probably the ones that players are going to skip. Mm-hmm. You know, at some point, those will be the ones that end up being skipped. But I also think 19 events isn't that many. For some players it is, but most players are used to playing 25 to 30 events. Mm-hmm. So we probably see them choosing those. But if they're going to sit an event, those are probably the ones they sit.
Yeah, I think the top players, Ben Johns, Riley, I don't think Matt Wright, they're not going to be playing those.
No. Yeah, I agree.
But
that's a good opportunity for some of these other players
to A, make a name, B, get some points, and travel around, get more experience.
Yep.
Somebody said, Tyler, what's your best Ernie of all time?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I don't have one that's standing out to me. Well, there is one that I remember, and this was kind of when I first started playing pickleball. I think I was playing against Marcin Rospetsky and Ben Johns, and I just remember I felt like I had jumped from the center line all the way over, and it was crazy. It was a good shot. Yeah, it was fun.
Do we have video? Was it
there actually is video from like an awful camera.
Who's our editor on this?
Yeah, I don't even know if
find it.
Yeah, somebody go find it. But yeah, that was fun. And then there's another one. I was playing with Zane Affleck. We were playing against Steve Deacon, and I can't remember his partner, but this was in the Texas Open. And I did an Ernie, and Steve said there's no way that he made that without taking off from the kitchen line. And I'm pretty sure I was legal. I didn't get called on it. But he was adamant on the fact that there's not a chance that I would have been able to make it without
jump that far.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, guess what? I know that you don't see guys like that in Canada, but he did it.
This was 5 years ago.
Really?
6 years ago. Yeah.
So Steve wasn't a senior yet?
Yeah. No, he wasn't. Okay. Brand and model of Tyler tank tops, please. I haven't worn tank tops that much.
Tank top Tyler.
That recently, but most of the time it's either going to be Nike, Lululemon, or Viore. But starting probably in another 1 to 2 months, I'll be wearing everything Stack.
Stack.
Yeah.
Tank top Tyler and tank top DJ Young.
Yeah.
We did do, but they're both signed with Stack now.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Stack is making
their spring lineup is really cool.
Really? Oh
really
yeah,
nice.
I actually saw it. I got it sent to me.
Yeah.
It does look good. No plus sizes though for guys like me.
Okay.
We need a big and tall Stack. Let's get a big and tall section.
Have any players swapped from PPA to MLP or vice versa?
So this is what we talked about. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, the Deke is saying that Leia did, but I actually don't think that's possible right now. You know, because I don't think that those contracts I don't think they're actually out of contract in order to do that. The only players who I think could actually do it at this point would be J-Dub's crew.
Yeah.
If they wanted to sign exclusive PPA deals, which brings up an interesting point. If those 5 said, hey, I want to sign exclusive deals with PPA, if you're PPA, do you blow up the merger? Are those 5 enough to move the needle where you run with who you have and just wait for MLP to...
I don't think so. I mean, I think MLP is a good product. I think it's good to have. This is what I've always said is I just wouldn't want to play 100% of MLP.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a healthy balance.
Yeah. Which it sounds like they've figured that out.
I mean, PPA was going to do Vibe events.
Yeah.
And so there should be some team aspect. Now, how many there is of that team event, that's for TBD.
Sure. That makes sense.
Okay.
Also, just to be clear, all these deals that people are signing with the new co revert back to your old deals on January 31st.
Supposedly,
unless they're extended. So that's another thing that'll be interesting. Another date to watch.
Okay. Matching outfits for teams, yes or no?
100% yes.
Like the exact same thing?
Maybe not the exact, but you got to look like similar colors.
I think color scheme, color coordination, I think that'd be more important than the exact same.
Yes, color coordination. Because I remember a few years ago, there was none of that. Yeah. And then last year, it seemed like it was better. Did they ask you guys to do that?
They asked us for the first time in the North Carolina tournament to match, which I didn't even know about.
So you didn't match
and
your
so
partner.
some teams are starting to do it. I think it does look good, but I think the more important thing is just color coordinating.
Yeah. You don't have to wear like the same thing, but at least the color coordinating is big. Like Ben and Annalie do a good job with it. Mostly Ben usually has like one color that's not quite there, but I just think that it looks good when you color coordinate for sure.
Yeah. What do the pros prefer, MLP format or traditional? I would say most, not most, but maybe 60 to 70% prefer the standard traditional format, and then maybe 30-ish percent.
You think?
Somewhere around there.
But then 80% signed with MLP.
Yeah, and a lot of those people had buyer's remorse and were already wanting to switch back to the PPA before there was talks of a merger.
Do they want to switch back because of the format or because of the money?
I think both. A lot of the
because the PPA deals were much higher than the MLP deals.
A lot of the top players wanted to go back because of the format.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think that, like I said, I love MLP. I mean, I'm a freaking president of an MLP team, but I think MLP is losing its momentum the longer this takes.
Okay, we'll do a few more. Pod seems afraid to talk about ALW's dominance. Why?
What?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. We talk about her dominating all the time.
She's Triple Crown winner. She does dominate. She dominates
is by far leaps and bounds against the next person.
Yeah, she dominates with the loaded paddle too. It's amazing. She kills it.
I'm not agreeing with that. I apologize for laughing.
No, ALW is great. She's the best player in the world. The gap between Annalie Waters is probably twice as large as, and the next female is probably twice as large as the gap between Ben Johns and the next guy. Mm-hmm. Like, she's that much better than everybody else right now.
Yeah. I would love, which we'll never see this, but her and Ben play in a standard men's tournament. How far they would go. I talked to him about this a while ago, and he said he thinks they would do top 3, which
really
I don't think so.
No.
Or Annalie in singles. Does she make it out of the first round?
First round, I don't know, dude. Because if she plays, like, literally,
the Johnsons didn't make out of the qualifiers.
If she plays Hunter Johnson, I don't think she beats Hunter Johnson.
Yeah,
I don't think she beats Chris Hayworth. I don't think she beats. Does she beat Frank Anthony Davis? Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying that just because I know he listens, but I don't know.
That's my Vision Pro going through.
Not a boy. Yeah, I don't know. I think that she can beat some males for sure. I think that she's good enough.
I think I've said I would put her in the top 20 to 30 for singles, but as the competition grows in singles, I would maybe put that 30
I just think
to 40
there's too much power, and there obviously there's going to be more speed. I think it'd be really interesting. I mean, we've talked about, like, J-Dub has talked about how he plays with Georgia. Mm-hmm. And is she top 10 in singles probably?
Yeah.
Females?
Top 10, top 15.
And she doesn't get points off of them.
Yeah.
Literally doesn't get can't even get 1 or 2 points. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Okay. Bang It Pickleball. When will Jimmy debut on the Pro Pickleball Tour?
Oh gosh, never. If there's a 3-0 tour, I'm in.
Okay. Let's say 2 more questions. Tyler, this is from Sorry Not Sorry. He loves to ask these questions. Tyler, who is the lowest ranked partner you could get an APP gold medal with? I think I could get one with Jeannie.
APP?
Yeah.
You and Jeannie could beat Daescu and Susanna Barr.
A medal.
Oh, medal. So you and Jeannie could beat. Let's see who got.
This is Jeannie after 2 months.
Oh, well,
not Jeannie on the first week.
Okay, wait. I'm curious about this now.
Just kidding. I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
Could you and Jeannie beat Will Howes and Bobby Oshiro?
Will Howes is interesting because he's a tennis player. He drives a lot. If his drives are on, he's fire. He's great.
Yeah.
But if they're off, then he misses.
Yeah.
And so it depends on what Will shows up that day.
So if you could beat them, you would get a bronze.
Okay. Can me and you get a bronze in doubles? Tyler and Jimmy?
In mixed?
No, in men's.
Oh, no.
You don't think so?
No. In mixed? Yeah.
Me and you.
In an APP?
At APP?
No.
Who's beating us?
Nunnery and Daescu.
Okay, they're winning it. Okay, who's second and third?
Johnsons.
We can't beat the Johnsons?
I don't know. I would talk my shit though. I'll tell you that. I would be in Hunter's head about Paris the entire time. I'd be like, hey, who's Paris looking at over there? Do you know him? Who's that guy I saw her walking away with?
Who is your favorite pro athlete, not pickleball? Jimmy, we'll start with you.
Oh man. Gosh. So I'm actually a big LeBron James fan. I know that's gonna. Michael Jordan was my guy, but now obviously in this era, LeBron. But I don't know if people know this. I'm a Spurs fan, so I was a huge Tim Duncan before he retired.
MJ,
MJ was the guy. Of course, he's everybody's number one. But I mean, he's been gone for a minute. Have you seen that movie Air?
No, not yet.
You should watch it, dude. I think you like it.
Yeah,
it's really good. Like, yeah. So yeah, I would probably say, I mean, it's got to be MJ if we're just talking like in general, but currently playing, probably LeBron.
Wow.
Although I love Tyreek Hill too. That dude's fun to watch.
Who's that?
Well, he's not dating Taylor Swift, so you wouldn't know. In fact, he's dating everybody. It sounds like he's got like 10 kids.
Okay. Anything else, Jimmy?
No.
Last but not least, we'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Reset Paddle.
Paddle Reset.
It's Reset is the name of the company.
Reset. Paddle Reset.
Go to resetpickleball.shop to check it out. It cleans your paddle safe and effectively.
Did you see the thread where people were like the people that had actually bought it and not just the trolls were saying how much they really liked it and how much they loved it. And
it's great. And it's safe and effective. I say that because the erasers, I think they actually do work, but it does damage your paddle. You're erasing, you're eroding it off.
Yeah.
This is pretty sweet because you just spray it on and then you can wipe it off. It's a lot more safe and effective than other methods might be. And I say this all the time, but it smells really good.
It does smell good. It's like Febreze for your paddle. And some of you need to just spray it in your bag. Trust me, you've walked by me.
Oh, Jimmy. I've been meaning to ask you this. Well, real quick, both of us are setting up a booth at Mesa, PPA Mesa. And so if you're going to be out there or if you want to come say hi to us, book your tickets there. We're going to have a little cool area where we're going to be doing podcasts, interviews, just kind of talking with a lot of different people.
We're going to try and like have a little. So what we did, we did a podcast at Masters and they had a VIP section for the country club members only. And Tyler and I may have walked over and grabbed some couches and things and set up our own little mini makeshift podcast studio.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gave us this idea that we're going to do it for Mesa.
Yeah. So come out to Mesa. It's going to be good weather. It's going to be fun. We're going to be there and it's going to be great. Okay. My question for you. So since we've entered this realm of podcasting, I don't even know if you want to call us influencers, entertainment, whatever it is.
That's a stretch.
The value that you bring often is correlated to the views and exposure that one can have.
Yeah.
So we've seen players, we've seen people, we've seen companies, we've seen organizations.
Yeah.
Somehow, some reason, their numbers begin to spike.
Yeah.
With sometimes no rhyme or reason, they don't have a guest on or something like that. What are your thoughts on that? People buying views.
Yeah, I think that there's people that are buying views.
Real quick, just to be fully transparent, I and this show have never, not once, purchased views.
No, look, I'll be real. I don't care enough to purchase views, and what I mean by that is I'll let.
But you can start getting bigger contracts.
I'll let the show speak for itself. And if you love it, you love it. If you hate it, you hate it. It is what it is. Like, I think we have great sponsors right now. We are very selective about our sponsors. This is what I don't think people believe us because, like, if you say something about a ball or you say something about this, you're like, oh, well, you're signed with this person. It's like your opinion isn't valid because they're sponsoring you.
Yeah.
We're not just taking anybody that brings in that's offering us money. We've been very selective. We've actually turned down more sponsors than we've signed.
Yeah.
Because we want sponsors that are products that we actually like and we actually love, right? Like ones that we will use. And yes, you did have a deal with Vulcan. That's not a secret to anybody when it comes to the ball. Okay, and this is a little bit of a rant here. But you also tried the ball out for 3 months, and we did not have to take a Vulcan ball deal on this show.
No.
We did not. We talked to Vulcan. We were very clear we are not going to take a deal unless we like the ball, which is why we were some of the first people to get it, and we were able to try it out and test it for several months, and that's what happened, okay? With that being said, people that buy views, Tyson McGuffin, months ago, talked about clout chasing, and I think that that's common, and I think they're trying to keep up, and yes, the more views you have, then
which is a little ironic because he's
notorious for buying views, and it's proven.
But not only views, but subscribers. But the more views you have, yes, the more you can charge for sponsorships, right? The more that, you look good on paper and all of these things. And I get that. But when you have 20,000 views on an episode of a show, when your average viewership is 3,000 and there's like 30 likes and 10 comments, like it's obvious and you look worse. Then, it looks worse for you, in my opinion. Like, just grow it organically. And if people love it, they love it. If they don't, then you need to make a change so they do. Right? Like, I don't understand the whole buying views thing. I think
it's just weird to me. And yeah, you're going to have certain episodes that spike because that's what happens in this, right? Yeah. Because sometimes something will go viral. We had an episode spiked
up to like 30,000
views. To like 30,000 views. But our comments and likes and everything correlated with that. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, it's those people that you see on Instagram that have 100,000 followers and then they post something. There's like 82 people liked it. Yeah. It's like, wait, you have 100,000 followers and only 82 people could do this? Yeah. Like, that's weird. Yeah. So I don't know, dude. I think it's fake and superficial. And I think that a lot of people are doing it. And I mean, do you, whatever. If that makes you feel better about yourself, helps you sleep at night, fine. But we'll never buy views. We're not going to buy views. It's just not what first of all, I'm cheap. Yeah. And that's a waste.
It takes a lot of time and effort and everything like that to keep up with it if you want it to look authentic.
Yeah, exactly. It's cheap. And we won't say who, but we caught somebody. They said that they didn't know that they were buying views. Somebody internally bought views. And we caught them and we kind of called them out jokingly. And they remedied it very quickly because it looked bad. Yeah. Anyways, I don't get it, but yeah, do your thing. And, you know, if you want bots all over your, you know, I would rather have real people watching my show that we can interact with, we could talk with, we could, you know, tell their friends, tell their family, all of those. So,
by the way, we announced our winners of our previous giveaway. We have contacted most of you via Instagram, the DMs. If you have not yet received anything, reach out to the Instagram account, More King of the Court. Our next giveaway that we will be doing will be
a big one
in 2 weeks, I think, 2 to 3 weeks.
Hey, guys, it's big.
It's big.
The value of this next giveaway is big.
Yeah. Anyways, if you've made it this far, please do us a big favor so we don't have to buy those followers and likes. Hit that like and subscribe button. It does great for this channel. Also, a big shout out to Acacia. We love them. AcaciaSports.com. Use code KOTC. The only shoe that Jimmy wore at Masters, and he loves them.
Wore it from Tuesday to Saturday, one shoe.
He didn't even take them off once.
No, I slept in them. I just wanted to try it. I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Because it's different if you're wearing it for an hour of pickleball here and there. I wanted to see, and they were great. Yeah. Like, I felt good.
Okay, anything else you want to add, Jimmy?
No, I don't think so. Let's big week this week.
Oh, we might be doing a podcast at the Combine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do one at the Combine. We're gonna try and have some players jump on. Like I said, we got a long list of players that are coming. Maybe we'll have them jump on for a couple minutes each and talk to some of the sponsors there. Yeah, let's have some fun. So
cool. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.